Should you be eating eggs after 60, or is avoiding them quietly working against you? A lot of people still cut back on eggs because of cholesterol. Others eat them every day and say they feel steadier, sharper, stronger. Both sides think they're right, but here's the piece most people miss. Your body after 60 doesn't handle food the same way it did at 40. It's not just older, it's adapting. And eggs are one of the clearest examples of that shift. In the next few minutes, I'll show you what eating eggs regularly after 60 actually does for your muscles, your memory, and your eyes. I'll walk you through the cholesterol question with what the research really says today. I'll show you 4 common mistakes that quietly cancel out the benefit, even for people eating eggs every single day. And I'll give you the simple structure: how many, cooked which way, paired with what, that makes the difference between eggs helping you and eggs doing nothing at all. I'm Dr. William. Everything here is based on published research from the American Academy of Ophthalmology, the National Eye Institute, Mayo Clinic, and Harvard Health. If this is useful, hit like and subscribe. It's the one thing that decides whether this reaches the next person who needs it. And drop a number in the comments. How many eggs are you eating in a typical week right now? It tells me exactly what to cover next. One quick thing before we go further. Some symptoms mean stop watching and call your doctor today. Sudden vision loss in one eye. Severe chest pain, especially spreading to your jaw or left arm. New painful swelling in one leg. Those are emergencies, and no food fixes them. But if what you're noticing is slower, a little less strength each year, a little more effort to remember things, vision that's softened over months rather than days, this video is for exactly that. Here's where it starts to matter. After 60, your muscles get worse at responding to protein. Doctors call this anabolic resistance. It means the same amount of protein that used to build and maintain muscle at 50 does less at 70. And that matters because muscle isn't just about strength. It's about balance, mobility, and staying independent. This is where eggs stand out. They have one of the highest protein qualities of any whole food, meaning more of what you eat actually turns into usable muscle. A lot of people increase how much protein they eat, but not the quality of it, then wonder why nothing's changing. Eggs aren't just protein, though. Have you noticed it taking a little longer to recall a name or stay focused? Eggs are one of the richest food sources of choline, which your brain uses to make a chemical essential for memory. Most adults don't get enough of it, and that gap grows with age. When people add eggs back in and notice clearer thinking, that's not a coincidence. Then there's vision. After 60, the part of your eye responsible for sharp central sight, the macula, becomes more vulnerable to wear over time. Egg yolks are rich in 2 nutrients called lutein and zeaxanthin, which collect directly in that part of the eye. Studies link higher intake of these with a lower risk of age-related vision loss. Here's something most people have never been told. Egg yolks deliver these nutrients in a form your body absorbs better than it does from spinach. Spinach has more of the raw nutrient, but it's locked inside tough plant cells. In egg yolks, it's already bound to fat, which is exactly what your body needs to absorb it. One properly cooked egg yolk can give your eyes more usable protection than a full cup of raw spinach. So here's the pattern. Muscle response slows, memory support drops, eye protection becomes more important, and eggs help with all 3 at once. Now, the cholesterol question. For years, eggs were blamed for raising cholesterol and heart disease risk. That's why so many people still limit them. But the understanding has shifted. When you eat cholesterol from food, your body doesn't just dump it straight into your blood. It adjusts, often making less of its own cholesterol to compensate. For most healthy people, eggs have a fairly small effect on LDL compared to things like refined carbs and processed food. Some studies even show eggs raising HDL, the kind linked to clearing cholesterol out of your arteries. Not everyone responds the same way. A smaller group of people are more sensitive and see a bigger LDL rise. Even then, their HDL usually rises too. So the full picture matters more than one number. If you have poorly controlled diabetes or a specific cholesterol disorder, that's a conversation to have directly with your doctor, not a rule for everyone. Let me tell you about Arthur, a composite patient, but his story reflects what we see often. Arthur is 71. For 20 years, he'd been told to limit eggs, so he switched to oatmeal, toast, and egg whites without the yolk. His blood work looked fine. His doctor said he was doing everything right. But Arthur was quietly losing ground. Stairs got harder. He needed reading glasses he hadn't needed at 65. He felt tired even after a full night's sleep. His diet was balanced, but it was missing exactly what eggs uniquely provide. When he switched to 2 whole eggs a day, yolk included, soft-boiled, with sautéed greens on the side, things changed. Within 4 weeks, he felt steadier on stairs. By 8 weeks, his reading distance had improved enough to skip the new glasses. His blood work stayed stable the whole time. Over the years in my clinic, I've seen something very simple make a real difference for people over 60 living with high blood pressure. It is not about extreme changes or complicated routines. It is about small, consistent, daily habits that support better balance in the body over time. That is why I created a guide called 30-Day Blood Pressure Control Protocol for seniors over 60. It is a simple, step-by-step system designed to help support healthier blood pressure through gentle daily routines, easy meal ideas, light movement, and clear habits you can follow at home. Some people who have followed this structure have told me they feel more in control of their daily routine and more confident when managing their readings. Right now, it is only open to 25 people because I want to follow closely and support each person properly. Once those spots are filled, access will be closed. If you feel like your current routine is not giving you clarity, you can click the link in the description or scan the QR code on your screen to get your copy today before it closes. And because you are part of this community, it is available at a 75% discount, so you can get started easily. So, how many eggs should you actually eat? Not 0 and not random. Research consistently shows 1 to 2 eggs a day isn't linked to higher heart disease risk in healthy people. But after 60, the goal shifts from just avoiding risk to actively maintaining function, muscle, memory, vision, all of it. Because of that slower protein response we talked about, most people need something like 25 to 35 grams of quality protein in a meal to really trigger muscle maintenance. 1 egg alone rarely gets there. For most people, that lands somewhere around 2 to 4 whole eggs in a meal, depending on what else they're eating that day. If this is landing for you, tap like. It really does decide who else sees this video. Now, the 4 mistakes that quietly cancel the benefit. 1. Pairing eggs with processed meat, refined bread, or sugary drinks. The egg stops being the star and starts riding along with foods that spike blood sugar and inflammation. Pair eggs with vegetables or whole foods instead, and the whole response steadies out. 2. Tossing the yolk. This is the big one. Almost everything valuable, the choline, the lutein, the zeaxanthin, the vitamins, lives in the yolk. Egg whites give you protein and basically none of the brain or eye benefit. 3. Overcooking. High heat for too long breaks down the delicate nutrients like lutein. Poaching, soft boiling, or gentle scrambling keeps more of it intact. 4. Bad timing logic. Eggs don't have to be a breakfast food. Your body responds most to protein after a long stretch without food, which is usually overnight. But if your other meals are light on protein, eggs later in the day work just as well. Let me tell you about someone else. I'll call her Margaret, 74. Another composite patient built from a pattern we see a lot. Margaret had cut eggs down to egg whites only twice a week, worried about her cholesterol numbers. Her memory wasn't dramatically bad, but she kept losing her train of thought mid-sentence, and it embarrassed her in front of her grandkids. When we looked at her diet, she was getting almost no dietary choline at all. She started having 2 whole eggs, yolks included, most mornings, poached with a side of vegetables. Within 6 weeks, she told me she felt like her thoughts were catching up to her mouth again. Nothing dramatic, just steadier. And one more, because this pattern shows up constantly. Raymond, 68, had done everything by the book. Egg whites, lean everything, low fat across the board. His frustration wasn't his heart, it was his eyes. Reading the newspaper had become a chore, and he assumed that was just age catching up. When he added the yolks back in, 2 soft-boiled eggs alongside spinach at dinner instead of breakfast, he noticed his evening reading got easier within about 2 months. He hadn't changed anything else. Here's how to actually use this. Structure the meal around the eggs, not the other way around. Eat vegetables or whole foods alongside them, not refined carbohydrates. Stay consistent. Your body responds to patterns, not one good breakfast. Cook them gently. Poached or soft-boiled beats hard and overdone. Don't rely on eggs alone for your full daily protein. Pair them with fish, legumes, or dairy across the day. And don't feel locked into breakfast. Eggs work whenever your meals need a protein anchor. Before you go, tell me 2 things in the comments. How many whole eggs are you eating in a typical week? And are you eating whole eggs or just the whites? I want to see how common the yolk skipping habit really is, because as we covered, it's the single biggest reason people miss out on the vision and brain benefits. Here's the short version. After 60, your body needs eggs differently than it used to. The yolk carries the protein quality, the choline, and the eye-protecting nutrients that matter most. Now, the cholesterol fear is mostly outdated for healthy adults eating a reasonably clean diet. The mistakes that undo it all are pairing eggs with processed food, skipping the yolk, overcooking them, and treating them as an afterthought instead of the main event. 2 to 4 whole eggs, yolks included, gently cooked with vegetables consistently through the week. That's the range that actually works. Before you go, if you are serious about getting more structure and clarity with your blood pressure, you can still access the 30-day blood pressure control protocol for seniors over 60. It is a simple day-by-day guide designed to help you build better habits, support healthier readings, and understand what actually works in your daily routine. Just click the link in the description or scan the QR code on your screen to get instant access. Once you are inside, start from day 1 and follow it step by step. This is exactly the kind of structure that helps people stay consistent and stop guessing with their health. If someone you know has been skipping eggs for years because of advice from a decade ago, send them this video. The science has moved on. Their body's needs have moved on too. I'm Dr. William. Subscribe for a new video every day and take care of those eyes, that brain, and the body that carries them both. Everything I've shared today is general medical information based on research and clinical experience. Always consult your own physician before making any changes to your health routine.